Hey, take a quick look around you right now. The chair you might be sitting on, the phone in your hand, your coffee mug, everything has a story about how it was made. But how does something go from being a single, unique idea to being one of millions? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today as we dive into the different scales of manufacturing.
I mean, seriously, have you ever just stopped and thought about it? You've got everything from a one-of-a-kind piece of art to a gadget that's in millions of homes. Every single object has its own journey, and understanding that journey is what this is all about.
And you know what? The secret behind it all is actually pretty simple. It's not just about fancy machines or giant factories. It all boils down to one word: scale. Are we making just one, a few dozen, or are we talking millions? Because the answer to that question changes absolutely everything. So, to make this super clear, we're going to break this whole journey down into three simple stages. We'll start small with the art of making just one. Then we'll scale it up to making some. And finally, we'll look at the massive systems required for making many. All right, let's dive in. First up, we're starting at the most personal, the most intricate scale of them all. This is all about creating something that's truly one of a kind. This is where craftsmanship is king. So this has a name, right? It's called one-off production, and you can think of it as the ultimate in custom work. A product made completely from scratch for just one person or one specific purpose. No two are ever exactly alike. You see, the thing that really defines this whole method is a big trade-off. On one hand, you get total, absolute customization. But that comes at a price. It requires an incredible level of skill, it takes a long time to make each item, and yeah, it's gonna have a premium price tag. The result, though? Something that's completely and utterly unique. Okay, to make this really stick, let's use a simple example that we can follow through this whole explainer: a chair. For one-off production, just imagine a master woodworker spending weeks, maybe even months, hand-carving this incredibly detailed, custom-designed throne for just one client. It's basically a work of art, and there is only one of them in the entire world.
All right, so that throne is magnificent, right? But what if you need more than just one? What if you're opening up a brand new cafe and you need, say, 50 chairs? Well, that brings us to our next level of scale.
And that's where batch production comes in. See, here, you're not making just one anymore, but you're also not making thousands. You're creating a very specific, limited number of identical items all at the same time in what's called a single production batch. The whole game here is about finding that sweet spot, that balance. By standardizing the process just for that single run, you get way more efficient, and you bring the cost of each item way down. And you can still have some variety, but it happens between different batches, not within a single one.
So let's bring back our chair, right? We're not talking about a royal throne anymore. Now you can picture a workshop setting, setting up special tools and templates specifically to produce a batch of 50 identical, really sturdy wooden chairs for that new restaurant. They all look the same, they're made the same way, and they're all made together as one group.
So when you put these two side by side, you can really see that fundamental trade-off we're talking about. As you move from making one to making a batch, you gain a whole lot in volume and speed, but you start to lose that absolute total customization that makes one-off production so special.
Okay, so we've made one chair, and we've made 50 chairs. But what if you're a global brand and you need to sell millions of chairs all over the world? For that, you need a completely different way of thinking. You need to operate on an industrial scale.
And that brings us to our final stage: mass production. This is the world of the assembly line. It's a system that's designed for a continuous, almost relentless flow of creation, just churning out massive quantities of standardized products as fast as possible and for as little cost as possible. See, with mass production, specialization is the name of the game. Each worker, or maybe it's a robot, focuses on just one single, repetitive task over and over. It creates this hyper-efficient system that pushes the cost for each item way, way down. But it does require a huge investment up front to design and build that whole production line.
And to bring our chair example home one last time, just picture it. This is that giant factory. You've got conveyor belts, robotic arms, and a system that's churning out thousands of identical flat-pack office chairs every single day. They're all exactly the same, designed for peak efficiency in both how they're made and how they're shipped.
All right, so let's pull back for a second and look at the big picture here. We've seen the whole journey, right? From a single handcrafted item in a small workshop all the way to a massive automated factory floor. Let's put it all together now.
And this chart, it just lays it all out perfectly. As you move from left to right, from one-off to batch to mass production, you see this really clear pattern. As the volume just skyrockets, the customization and the need for a highly skilled individual worker drop way down. It's a total inverse relationship.
And that right there is probably the most important thing to remember. No single method is inherently better. They're just different tools for different jobs. You'd probably want a custom wedding dress made using that one-off approach, but you're also probably pretty glad your car was made using mass production because that's what makes it affordable.
And this leaves us with a really fascinating thought for the future. With new technologies like advanced 3D printing, we can now create highly customized things with incredible speed. So the big question becomes, are we entering a new era where the lines between these skills start to get blurry? A future of, say, mass customization? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.